All right, nice. We got some ground branch. Let's give it a whirl. I have spent a little bit of time, you know, figuring stuff out, finding myself. What I do want to show off is this weapon modding system. In a lot of ways, it's kind of unnecessary because it's like, oh, well, you're not going to put your hollow here. But the cool part is you can put them in other places like this 1 to 8, like. And if you have they've got a night vision, but anyway, you can put some night vision on front. I'm not familiar with it. It's definitely not that. So there is some reason to move it. And then people online were talking about eye relief. So like if it's way back here, like maybe that wouldn't work, but you might have to, you know, put it somewhere like here. And that might limit what you can put on your rifle. So it kind of cool. It does seem like you can do some funny things like set this bad boy up and then set up a G33 with it. You know, you could do something like this, or like probably more like that. As long as the G33 lines up, then you can see the dot. But this is a really cool system. There's grips, there's guard rails. Yeah, FDE suppressor, nice. Yeah, here's a rail panel. Yeah. Whatever area on your rail you're not using, you can cover it with the panel. It's pretty cool. Like here's a riser. You know, you can set up, like if you wanted a riser and a flush mount RMR through the G33, maybe you could do that, right? I'm not sure, but that's cool. You can play with it. And their plan is to make it so you can replace the bolt carrier group, replace the barrel, replace the lower, replace the upper. Like these models are quite intricate. So what people are speculating, and I think what the devs have confirmed, is that they're making them that way because you can see the inner workings work of the weapon. You can move the bolts. You can move everything. So that'll be really cool to see. Now the other cool part about this is, so okay, I want to modify my headgear. I'll click on the gear, and now I can move the night vision on or off. There's ears you can move on or off. The ears cost not, maybe there's weight involved with the ears and the nods, but for now there's not much to use, but I'm pretty sure they're going to change some of that in the future. Now for carrier rigs and stuff, I can say I don't want my frag there, I want it here, so I'd put it there. Very cool. See, it looks like there's 2 AR mags in each of these slots. Now, this is like wasted space. I feel like we could really get in the detail on how we're utilizing the real estate on our carrier here. Like, look, this is just, anyway, but that aside, like, it is quite cool. And this is where, like, I could have a set of binoculars here with my breaching charge on my back. And, you know, if I'm SL, I can get the rangefinder too. And you know what I mean? Like, it's interesting. And what's cool about this game too is that your AO is much wider than that of a SWAT game, or even, I wouldn't say the old Rainbow Six games. This is kind of more like the old Rainbow Six games. I hear that some of the guys that worked on Raven Shield are working on this game, and that makes sense to me. The maps are wide open, so there's a use for a rangefinder and a set of binoculars if only the marksman has a scope, or, you know, you can. And right now people online are saying, oh, this is more like a sandbox game than a mission. There's not a lot of missions to be had. There's not a lot of like structured events to participate in, you know, and that's okay. I think if you are willing to learn it and put some time into it, and find other people that are willing to learn it and put some time into it, then I think it's a worthy thing, especially because it does movement and stuff very differently. It looks like they don't have facial hair quite yet. Go to the farm, see if we can say hello to Anderson Cooper. I mean, in a lot of cases, it seems like anybody can get used to their gear, but it's kind of how you use your gear that matters. And that's why I like what they have here, which is we've got a high ready position, which I hear mixed things about. Like it drains your stam because you're using your arms. That's what I hear, but I'm not sure if that's true. This seems like IRL for me, it is easy to move in a high ready. My arms can maintain the high ready for some time, much more than this, right? A pointed, like ready to fire muzzle up position. Like this is how most games operate, but what I'm understanding is that let's try and sprint here. Let's sprint. Let's even sprint up the stairs. Oh my god. So yep, there's the sway. At first I was gonna say it wasn't the most sway, but it's some sway. To do this, you hold left control. This is like full out sprint mode. and shift is kind of a fast walk mode. You can also fast walk crouch. You can also left control run crouch. Kind of interesting. I hear him. He's tired. Now I'm gonna mouse wheel up to get my 4x. Just try and hit that guy. Hold left control. Hit. That's the other cool part about this training range is it will, depending on where you are in the training range, certain contextual UI comes up, which is kind of cool. We got a low ready here, which is kind of what I see most people running around doing. I've only played a few games, but the other reason you have the high and low ready positions is circumstance like this. Here I am at low ready. And like here it seems fine. I'm using the lean function and I'm at low ready, and then I lean and right click to bring the weapon up. So I could right click and lean. That's probably better, right click, lean, and be further away. That way you don't have to be in this circumstance. But if you're the first guy too, you would be here and then you go, right? But then you're the guy behind him, and maybe you're at a high ready, or are you at a low ready? Debatable, right? But interesting. And also people can take this as seriously as they want. And what I'm noticing about the online lobbies is that some players really they're very deliberate about clearing every piece of the map, and they're not treating it like a game. They're not saying, well, they don't usually spawn there, so whatever. That some players don't treat it like that, and they clear every portion of the map, and they treat every doorway like it's lethal. And like that's a really interesting, high attention, like very demanding, like processing wise way of playing the game. I'm kind of starting to see this as more of a training tool, honestly. High and low ready positions, and also you can't really do anything with footwork. I think that's the next stage in shooters, is to utilize some kind of pedal system where you can input your own walking. Well, if I'm gonna clear like this, let's get my compressor ready. So if I want to clear this, right, I would go with my right foot as close as possible to this thing on my right and be clearing like that. But if I went with my left foot, maybe it would throw me and my balance would go off or something, and I wouldn't be able to hit my shot when I needed to. It's that type of thing. So I can see, but that I would imagine if there was variable analog input, you could say and go, and you could step very rhythmically. And you could learn how to walk again in the metaverse, right? But this is a really cool training tool, I think. And this game addresses so many of the things that shooting games have needed for so long, and it already has all of those features. However, it does not have a very structured, clear goal for the player. Like somebody's having the most immersive experience of their life playing this, and then the other person's like, woohoo, give me the LMG. You know what I'm saying? Like you can make this whatever you want it to be, but let's hit this target. And see here, I'm not even controlling my mouse. Let's full auto. See there, we had some travel, but full auto. And frankly, if you're holding your weapon correctly, that's what would happen. Like, you don't have to really... Yeah, here, it moved my reticle to the left a little bit, and now I have to make a little adjustment. But honestly, that's true to form. That's more true to form than the... It seems like every shooting game has the character limp wristing, and they can't do a reload, they can't... all that. There is a mod, I believe, that somebody told me about, or I heard about online, that was civilians. It added civilians to the game. And even if you can't work with the civilians quite yet, or move them, or do anything like that, I imagine either the modders will make that happen, or Oh, it didn't give me anything there. See if I can change the brightness of the reticle. Oh. To nothing. Wow. That's cool. Wow, that's great, actually. See, it's stuff like that where, like, and if there's a red dot and you're outside and the sun is bright and you're depending on your red dot, can you depend on your red dot? Like, here I can, but can you do it here? No. Can you do it here? Kind of. Kind of. How about here? No. It's cool that this game, people, I'm not the first person to think about this, but games just haven't thought that this was important. And now, you know, so many people outside of the game world think that this is an important issue to be able to, you know, adjust something like this. And it's not just this in the game that I'm raving about. It's that they've considered this, and that there are other things in the game like this that have been considered. And you know, that's pretty special. I don't think we're in a day and age right now where it is very risky to pursue what you think is worthwhile. It's much easier and more predictable if you follow what has come before you. But I have to say, I'm very impressed that they've done this. And I remember playing this game some time ago, and I know people are gonna jump on me to saying that it feels clunky, and I've heard this in other YouTube videos where people, oh, it's clunky, or oh, they say it's clunky, but it's not, and I would agree. Now I say yes, I agree that it feels clunky when you first pick it up, but when you know what you're inputting, it's kind of like Dark Souls. Like when you input, it takes a minute for your character to do something, and some players did find that feeling unresponsive. So far, the spawn locations I do not know, and the enemies, the AI will also, which is a complaint I had about Ready or Not. The AI just kind of sit there, and their buddy's getting shot at the front of the club with the RPD. He's supposed to be their big security, and he goes down, and nobody does anything, you know. But here, AI will react, which is good. I think also the big advantage of this game is that it has PvP. And PvP, while I'm not a huge PvP guy, I think that PvP can help your team understand the game. Like if you find a team that you want to play with and you're all doing PvE and, you know, you're struggling with communication or you're struggling with some other stuff, you can go play PvP and learn new things and be put in different situations. The game presents to you that you must handle the dirty trickery, just like Tarkov or something, like a Tarkov rat just sitting there waiting. You know, that's some dirty trickery. And PvP, it's good to have PvP because it brings that element into the game. When you only have a PvE game, you can quickly exploit the AI if that's how you want to play the game. Okay, but enough about PvP and enough about PvE. Change the time of day. Interesting. Yeah, like switching. Oh. Huh. Switching the zoom is not quite. I wish I need to be able to switch it here. Like I need to press, so if I press Alt up, Alt mouse wheel up, I still bring up the RMR. I have to press Alt, or no, I have to scroll wheel up when I ADS to switch my, I want to switch it here when I'm running. Like, oh, I need to check that long. I need to look down my 4X. Now I had it selected already, but let's try again. Hmm. 1669.7. Yeah, and there's a lot of options for nighttime, like oh, slower. Interesting. It's stuff like that, you know, like there we could turn the power off, do it a different way. We could go, I mean, this, not so much, but we could go around the other way and one guy could go this way. You know, like there's just a lot more. The other interesting part about this game is that when you spawn, like let's say this is the spawn screen, you have a place up here. Let's see. You got a place up here to spawn. You have a place down here to spawn. You have a place down here to spawn. Not everybody has to spawn in the same spot, and it's not a vote. At first I thought, oh, okay, 6 out of 8 people want to spawn there. Okay, I guess my vote doesn't count. But no, the other people that picked this spot will spawn there. So you can set up plays, you know, okay, you guys go this way, head up, get security up top. We'll go around, you know, through the courtyard and you can cover us from, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really cool. You can start planning and playing around, trying different stuff. Now, I've got some low graphics settings here, as you can tell, because, you know, I tend to be on Discord and have streams open and have tabs. I have a lot of tabs open, that type of stuff. So your game might not look as heinous as mine, but this is a great game. Highly recommend. The sound effects are great. I think they're going to do an overhaul even. This is kind of more of a military game. You can play it like, I don't know, DEA or CIA or CQB. You know, your whole team could kit out in MP5s and, you know, blue and black and stuff. And like, you can do it like that. I think this game, it does both of those things, whereas Ready or Not does one of those things. But it does both, and people don't know that it does both because there's no bomb defusal game mode, or there's no active shooter game mode for the police section to be shown off. And then there is PvP, which is like, I don't know, 16 versus 16 or something like that. Very nice to integrate the watch and the compass. You know, like, I know this is a real thing, but the problem with these games is that they're trying to make up some solution for UI, and it's like, it's right there. Look, I'm holding ADS and I can say he's direct north of us. It's right there. Like, they don't need some UI up here. You know, they don't need that. They don't need some UI down here. But these game companies, they have to somehow use their budget on these UI people and these animators. So that's what they do, and they end up with too much junk, and we don't need any of that. This is what we need. And like the bottom right where you're seeing the character, that's subtle. I mean, I might even prefer that it's not like, you could change it to being you're in position A or B or C, or you can label them as you want. Kind of like a gear change or something. Like, you can get rid of you can even further simplify the UI to make it immersive. But there's a lot of potential here, and I'm sure modders will do that. See, like, I'm swinging the door. I probably don't have to. Interesting. I went high ready because I was trying to throw the door with the mouse wheel. Interesting. Anyway, really cool game. Highly recommend.